Yeah, eat, sleep, fantasy, you rockin' with the best. NFL Fantasy Football Podcast. We talking mock drafts, running backs, better follow the conversation with
John,
Dale, Christian, and Armando. Screaming Eat Nation, we doing what we like. Tune in every week, guarantee we get it hype. Fantasy, football enthusiasts, I know you plan to be joining us on Eat, Sleep, Fantasy. Yeah, Eat, Sleep, Fantasy. Eat, Sleep, Fantasy.
All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Eat, Sleep, Fantasy Football Podcast, also known as the Yahoo of Fantasy Football Podcasts. My name is Christian Brito.
My name is Jeff.
And joining me, as always, on this beautiful pod is Mr. Dale DeMott. What's up, Dale?
Fuck you, Dale! Fuck you!
what's up, man? We are the Yahoo of Fantasy Football Podcast because, we're not quite the Google, but we're still recognized and respected.
I actually went with Yahoo because I think they're my least respected,
Search engine.
Yeah. Just because of all the wrong decisions that Yahoo has made over the years.
Oh yeah, that's true. We are definitely comparable in that sense.
Horrible at their investments.
They do have great fantasy football platform.
They do have a great fantasy platform. They do have good news. They're an all-around good website. They just suck at managing money.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
Crazy.
Yep. I don't even think Google's better, but I will always go to Google.
Oh, yeah. Google. Well, you know what Google really did well is just keeping it simple. Like, I love Google because they don't have a million links on their stupid homepage. Like, I can go to Google and just type in what I'm searching. Yahoo, you got to sort through all the news and weather. It's like, I'm not doing all that.
Yeah, but it's also nice to have that. No, sometimes you need that.
No. If I'll open a newspaper if I want all the.
Dale, you will never open a newspaper. When's the last time you read a newspaper?
I don't think I've ever read a newspaper.
What was the last? Wow. Okay. What was the last time you read a book?
Books I do read, but it's been probably like 6 months.
What was the last book you read?
The 48 Laws of Power. Really good book.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Not bad.
Probably.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't want to be too long-winded here in my introduction. So I do want to let everyone know we're going to be talking today about wide receivers, our wide receiver tiers. If you want to go through that, listen to us. If you don't, fast forward to the end so we at least get credit for a listen. Mm-hmm. And then don't give us bad reviews for not getting to the point because it's only been 2 minutes and we're going to start the podcast.
Yes, exactly. If you guys want to follow along and look at our rankings online, eatsleepfantasy.com/rankings. It's a website. You can sort through the rankings, half point, half PPR, full, standard, quarterbacks, overall, all that good stuff. So eatsleepfantasy.com/rankings. It's completely free. You just have to sign in, and it's going to be good times. And you can also get our Dynasty rankings through that site as well. And if you guys are interested, we have the Platinum Kit for sale. But I'm going to give you a little spoiler here. Do not buy the Platinum Kit before you listen to the full episode because we may or may not have a pretty good offer later on this episode for you if you're even considering spending that $20 on the kit. So listen up, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 minutes from now. Don't skip ahead. Listen to what we have to say, but there's a really good offer coming up.
Okay. Do you have any other housekeeping you want to do?
Housekeeping, you want me for pillow?
Please go away. Let me sleep for the love of God!
Housekeeping, you want me to jerk you off?
Yeah, actually, we do have one more thing. The texting service, I did send out a trivia question to win a free Platinum membership, and I will announce the winner right now. The winner of the Platinum membership, a $20 value. I don't know if we have to fill out special forms for it. I don't know if it's legal doing giveaways like this, but
yeah,
the winner, actually the very first person to respond, interestingly enough, was you.
Yes.
That's pretty good out of all those people. The second, though, because I'm not giving you a free thing, The second
I wanted
was
to prove a point, by the way. Yes, I won the contest. I proved a point. I'm good.
the listener or the texter with the last 4 digits, 2204. Congratulations. If they don't get back to us in a couple days, the second runner up was last digits 0832. I'm going to give one more. The last one was 0696. So if you're either one of those numbers, email me, contact@eatsleepfantasy.com, and we will get all that sorted, and we'll let you know. So
You've got 48 hours.
Yep. So go for it.
All right.
Cool.
Let's jump into our wide receiver tiers. Dale, as John pointed out with our running back tiers, I tend to have smaller tiers at the top. I'm more exclusive with who belongs in a group at the top of my rankings. And the reason being for that is when I'm in my first couple of rounds, I want a safe floor to go along with that upside. I want to make sure that if I'm investing a first or second round draft pick, it's on a guy that I know is going to be a first or second round talent at the end of the year. And so, with no further ado, I'm going to tell you my tier 1 of wide receivers for 2019. You tell me if you agree or disagree.
DeAndre
Hopkins
and Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams.
That's it. Stop.
And Michael Thomas.
No.
Why not Michael Thomas?
Because if it's arguable, especially for the first tier, you can't have him in there. Like, I understand, like, arguing the second, third tier difference, but when you're talking about the first tier, it's elite. There is absolutely no question about DeAndre Hopkins and Devontae Adams. Michael Thomas, I get it, and I know he is your, third-ranked wide receiver?
Yes.
He's my 4th. He's John's 6th, and he's actually Armando's 1st. So given that little bit of discrepancy, I just can't put him in that top tier of being elite because there is a small question for me.
Okay. So if you look at, not last year, because he finished number 6 last year, but if you look at 2016 and 2017, he finished better than Devontae Adams. And in his 3 seasons, his fantasy finishes are 7, 6, and 6.
Compared to Devontae Adams is what?
10, 13, and 4.
Interesting.
So I think the steady Eddie consistency of 3 top 7 finishes in a row in his 3 seasons, along with the best quarterback wide receiver catch percentage in the last 15 years between Drew Brees and Michael Thomas. And as long as they figure out his contract situation, which I'm sure they will, I see no reason for him to be featured even more heavily in 2019. So I think Hopkins and Devontae Adams are, as you mentioned, locks for this group. I think there are potentially cases to be made for guys like Julio Jones and stuff like that, Antonio Brown, to be considered. But no, they're a different tier. But I do want to put Michael Thomas in this group because I think that he actually has a slightly better 2019 than he has had in the past 3 years, and that would make him easily top 5.
You don't think he's going to get paid and kind of,
No, absolutely not.
Okay, so look at Michael Thomas here. I'm sorry, not Michael Thomas. Look at Julio Jones' production over the last few years. Julio Jones,
amazing.
Last year 2, the year before 7, the year before that 6, the year before that 2, the year before that 6. So he's had 5 top 7 finishes in the last 5 years. That screams consistency as well. Do you have an issue putting him in that top tier as well?
The only issues putting Julio in there are the format that you're playing in, as well as is he going to do it again at 30 and moving forward?
When is he going to not? Right.
When is he not going to be the utmost elite? We are talking about 113 catches last year. That is not a number that I think he repeats.
Sure.
we're talking about 8 touchdowns last year, which is not his forte traditionally. So I like Julio, but do I like Julio as much as he produced last year? Probably not. I think he's closer to the 2017, that 1,400 on 88 catches than the almost 1,700 on 113 catches.
Sure. Okay.
Which is still great. Still a top 10, top 8 option, like you mentioned, for the last top 7 option for the last few years. But
5 years. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Actually, through the last 7 years, he's only finished outside the top 12 once, and that's when he was injured in 2013. He finished at 63, but I mean, that's just nuts. So, really quick, while you're talking about Tier 1, Antonio Brown had 3 years in a row of being the number 1 fantasy wide receiver.
Right.
DeAndre Hopkins has 2 years so far, going for the 3rd. What are the percentage chances in your mind that DeAndre Hopkins will have his 3rd number 1 finish? I know this is kind of like, okay, we know DeAndre Hopkins is good, but I'm just curious. What are the percentage chances that he's going to finish number 1 again?
Change the question to top 3, because there could always be a guy that just like excels that year and finishes number 1. But if you make that top 3, I'm going to give you like a 75% chance, barring injury, that he's a top 3 wide receiver.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's move on. Let's go.
Also, very consistent.
Sure.
At the wide receiver position, sometimes that isn't always the case at the top, but DeAndre Hopkins, 75% of his games last year, in terms of consistency rankings, he was worth a start. So 12 of the 16 games. The only person that was better, Davante Adams. 14 out of his 16 games was worth a start.
Crazy.
And only once was he actually a sit. So that other game, that 15th game, was just kind of not somebody that it was just whatever. One bad game all year.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Cool. All right. Let's move on to the Tier 2 then, since we're doing it like this. So we have Tier 1, Hopkins, Adams,
Before we do so, I want to interject here and kind of talk a little bit about tiers itself, because we've done this already with quarterbacks, we've done this with running backs, but this may be your first episode of fantasy football that you're listening to all year. And so the reason that we break things down into tiers is for the purpose of drafting, right? You're not going to win your league at drafting, but it's a very important time of year because this is the foundation for your team.
Sure.
And when you break something down into tiers, you can kind of sit there and see, okay, I am drafting right now. Davante Adams is gone, but DeAndre Hopkins is still left. Mm-hmm. And I'm comparing that wide receiver, the one wide receiver left in my Tier 1, to all the running backs in Tier 1 may be gone. And you're looking at Tier 2 running backs. Well, that's probably the time to pull the trigger on DeAndre Hopkins because he's the last player left in your tier. So it's a way to kind of organize who you can take when, reach for those guys when tiers are starting to run out, because that is a group of guys that should be valued equally, right? The difference between Davante Adams and DeAndre Hopkins is probably not huge, right? The difference between Stephon Diggs and Keenan Allen this year is probably not huge. As you get farther down the list, the difference between guys in the same tiers is not huge, and so when that tier starts to run out, that's the moment to kind of grab that guy because that equivalent value won't be found later on in the draft.
Right. All right. Every time you say tiers, I'm thinking TEARS. It makes me sad.
Yeah, but when you spell it out, I think tears.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Never mind. All right, let's talk about Tier 2 here.
Okay. I'm going off of my tiers, by the way, because this is the more accurate version. Any disagreements about that statement?
You're going off what?
My tiers, because these are the more accurate rankings. Any disagreements there?
What do you mean your tiers?
My tiers, my rankings. They're better.
We're going with the consensus, buddy.
Nope.
Okay.
Fuck your consensus.
All right. Okay, so the next tier should
Fuck
be...
you, Dale.
should be OBJ.
Fine, I'll pull up your tiers. I hate you.
It should be Odell Beckham Jr., Julio Jones, and Tyreek Hill. And tier 2 would be my opinion. What do you think?
My tier 2 is a little bit wider.
You can't put Antonio Brown in here, can you?
Yes.
Okay.
So hold on one second. My tier 2, I'll give you all the names grouped together because this is a 6-player tier for me. Tier 1, only 3 guys. Tier 2, I got 6 guys in the same group that if you told me you wanted Antonio Brown or you wanted Julio Jones or you wanted Juju Smith or you wanted Tyreek Hill, Odell Beckham, or even Mike Evans, I would put all of those guys in the same group.
I guess so. Antonio Brown may be the last in that on that tier, though, I think. And I'm adjusting my rankings.
Why?
I don't trust Derek Carr.
Okay.
I mean, look,
I get it.
no doubt about it. I'm not arguing Antonio Brown's talent and ability. Obviously, the guy is, super awesome. But I just don't trust Derek Carr enough to rank him as high as a lot of other people. I just don't.
Okay. And I do see that I'm the highest of our rankings on Antonio Brown amongst the 4 of us. I have Antonio Brown as my wide receiver number 4. You guys all have him at 7 or 8. If you want to check out those rankings, eatsleepfantasy.com/rankings. Those are our consensus.
It's a website.
On Eat Sleep Fantasy. Yeah, it is a website. And so I just think Antonio Brown's going to be the focal point of that offense.
Yeah.
And they're going to force him the ball like he's used to.
Yeah. I mean, he's Antonio Brown or Doug Martin, but I see your point.
I hate you. Also, yeah, you're gonna have to cut this, Dale. Stop messing with your mic. It's like rubbing really annoyingly.
This?
Yes.
Oh,
it's really
it's not
bad.
recording through there. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, good.
If you want to
No,
make a
you're
note
good.
here.
It's fine.
So, as far as Antonio Brown, 168 targets last year. I don't expect that number to go down. And maybe I'm crazy, but I just don't.
Yeah.
I think he's going to see very similar target numbers, and I think 1,300 yards and double-digit touchdowns again are very realistic, if not more than that.
Yeah, I mean, look,
So-
I am a little lower, but that doesn't mean I don't think he's not going to do anything. Yeah, he's going to be heavily involved in this offense, no doubt about it. And by the way, I was joking about Doug Martin, but I will put it on record that I am high on Doug Martin as a very deep sleeper, late round guy, very late round. He's worth a stab at.
What are you higher on, Doug Martin or Potnoose?
I said that. Let's go. Okay. So that's the second tier, going all the way down to Juju Smith-Schuster. The third tier gets a little interesting because
You don't put Tyreek Hill in that group.
yeah, we do, don't we?
Yes,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Seeing as how he has avoided any sort of suspension, it doesn't seem like anything is going to come down. I think Tyreek Hill deserves to be in top 7 wide receiver ranking, more or less.
Yeah.
Especially considering how high-powered that offense is. He's worthy of the consideration for. I think he's definitely in that top tier, but worthy for consideration for being like one of the uber elites if he's not going to miss any time. So
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so the next tier, now the third, fourth, fifth tier, is where it gets
starts to kind of get wider. We're going to pick a couple guys that maybe we want to highlight here.
Sure.
Again, if you want to check out our rankings, eatsleepfantasy.com/rankings. If you want to see our tiers, you can check those out in the draft kit, eSleepFantasy.com/draft kit, or you can just hit the subscribe button on our main page.
But don't do it yet because we do have an offer coming up in this episode.
Speaking of offers,
All right, Christian, let's stop here and take a second to announce one of our new partners in Manscaped and Manscaped.com. I'm really excited to have them join the show.
yeah. So it's not every day that you have a sponsor partnership opportunity where you reach out to them because you're so excited about their product. And basically what happened, here's the story, right? I'm grooming down there, your nether regions, and I'm going to get graphic. I clipped myself pretty bad, and I'm bleeding. And it wasn't pretty. I did scare myself with that incident. And 2 days later, I discovered that Manscaped exists, which is what led me to immediately order Manscaped and try out a product that now, the Lawnmower 2.0, which is what they got now, is their kind of proprietary skin-safe trimmer, along with other products that they have for man grooming. Guys, this is something that you should be doing, okay, in the first place. I do it. I live in South Florida. This Miami heat, I gotta do it. Gotta take care of your balls. But their Lawnmower 2.0, waterproof, skin safe, beautiful product.
Yeah. Well, the problem is, like, back in the day, I'm 36 years old, right? So back in the day, either you had to use a shitty beard trimmer, or you take scissors and you kind of do
Don't
your
do
own topiary.
Nope.
That's bad. Right
Yes.
now, I had and I'm not lying, and I can actually take a picture and show you this on social media. It is an old, I don't remember the brand name, but long story short, it's rusty, and it wasn't very dependable. And it's not what you want to get close to your balls.
Yeah. Well, see, I'm a simple man. I like to just kind of clean up when I'm in the shower. It's easy. And the problem is that most trimmers, if they're cordless, they're not waterproof. And even if they met all those requirements, they're going to nick you. Mm-hmm. And this does all of those things. It's cordless. You can bring it in the shower with you. It's waterproof. And it is crazy. And right now, we've kind of partnered with them. We've got this kind of promotion going on. You get free shipping, plus you get 20% off with our promo code at manscaped.com. Guys, trust me, you want to try this. It comes in this little kit now that you can get the crop preserver with it, which is like this ball deodorant moisturizer. Again, I'm in South Florida. You get that swamp ass down here. You put deodorant already on your armpits. Might as well put it on one of the smelliest parts of your body in your nether region. So use our promo code ESF.
But the cool thing is, use our promo code. You get 20% off and free shipping. But if you guys go ahead and take advantage of the 20% off, we will also give you the free draft kit. We'll give you just the entire thing, the PDFs, the audio files, the rankings, the editable cheat sheets, all that stuff you get for free if you just show us proof of purchase using the promo code. So you are getting a ton of value here, and most of all, you are saving your balls from bleeding to their death.
So using promo code ESF, you get 20% off, you get free shipping, and you get our $20 draft kit for free, which you can sign up for that, eatsleepfantasy.com/draft kit.
Yep. All right, let's continue our rankings here. Our tiers. So coming basically off of Juju Smith-Schuster.
But no more tiers with our shaving of our balls, because...
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. I'm sorry. Just a lot of balls
there are
in my
tiers
head
in
right
fantasy football, no tiers in ball shaving anymore.
Yes.
Promo code
Thank you.
ESF, manscaped.com. All right.
Also a website.
All right. So we are looking at guys, and I know we got to adjust our rankings a little bit on the AJ Green, but besides that, we're looking at players such as T.Y. Hilton, Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, Stephon Diggs. I'm expecting you to stop me soon. Kenny Galladay.
Slow down. Start over.
Okay.
Start over.
Okay. T.Y.
I'm looking at my own tier now. T.Y. is definitely in there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Keenan Allen.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Amari Cooper's in there.
Yes. Big time.
Stephon Diggs.
I like it.
Kenny Galladay.
I have him in the next
It starts
tier,
getting
but at the
fuzzy here.
very top of the next tier, I don't think he belongs in the same group as these guys, but okay.
Yeah, and then we're talking about Adam Thielen as well.
Adam Thielen is the last of my tier in this group, yes.
Not gonna.
I think you're missing one person.
Brandon Cooks. I think we got to put Brandon Cooks in
Yes.
there.
I
So-
have been a Brandon Cooks truther forever, and I don't think this year's any different.
I agree. I mean, the offense that he's in. There's nothing to.
Why is he the forgotten man in fantasy football?
I don't know. Me and you are higher on him than
He has
are the
been
co-hosts.
a top 15 wide receiver 4 years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter where he goes. He's a top 15 wide receiver. It doesn't matter if he's in New Orleans. It doesn't
sees the
matter if
same
he's in Boston or, wherever the fuck you actually consider the Patriots. New England, I guess. Or if he's in L.A.
Yep.
So Brandon Cooks will finish the year as a top 15 wide receiver. You can quote me on that.
I agree.
So
I don't. Yeah, definitely don't disagree. Now the
Dale, do you agree with me?
I don't disagree.
I need you to say you agree with me.
No, I agree with you. We're good. We're on the same page here with Brandon Cooks.
I get that, like, the double negative kind of confirms it, but, like, not really. It feels like you're avoiding
I
it.
don't not disagree.
What?
I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Robert Woods is a guy right there on the fringe as well. There's some argument that Robert Woods is actually the
No.
more dominant receiver in LA.
No.
Okay.
No.
There's an argument to be made. I'm not going to make it.
Is there? Is there?
Yeah.
Is there?
Yeah, I think there is. I think Robert Woods. Let's see. I'll tell you right now, because Robert
More
Woods,
consistent, I think, is the argument.
Sure.
I think is the only argument in favor of Robert Woods.
Okay. I mean, he out targeted Brandon Cooks. He did play one extra game. He had more receptions than Brandon Cooks. He did play one extra game, and he had more yards.
What was the receptions and yards difference?
Let's see. He had 6 more receptions with about 15 more yards.
Yeah.
And the same amount of touchdowns.
Okay.
No, actually, Robert Woods had 1 extra touchdown. So it all equivalates to basically 1 extra game. And that's really what it boils down to. So
Okay. Fair
I
enough.
don't know. If you're making a case for Brandon Cooks, I'm just saying Robert Woods has to be in that conversation. I get it that Brandon Cooks has been more consistent over the years, but if you're just looking at last year and looking at trends, it's pretty close, and I think an argument can be made.
Fair enough.
Okay.
I have Robert Woods at the top of my very next tier.
Along with Kenny Galladay, Adam
along with Kenny
Thielen.
Galladay. But give me 2 guys that you are adamant about in tier 3 at your wide receiver position, that they're going to be tier 3 or higher this year.
There's 2 guys here. Kenny Galladay, and I'm going to put DJ Moore up there. I'm
Get off my podcast.
based off ADP, I get it. I know that it's a popular thing to talk about DJ Moore versus Curtis Samuel. Curtis Samuel, a little bit better value at his current ADP. I get all that. But DJ Moore, I think, has a ton of upside. If he is that number 1 in Carolina, Cam Newton can feed him, and he could be really valuable. So in this, I see
Dale,
him
gun
being
to your
very
head, you're
similar
not
to
drafting
Kenny Galladay.
DJ Moore over Brandon Cooks, are you?
No, absolutely not.
So why are you including him in this group?
Oh, tier 3. I'm sorry. I thought we were moving on to the next tier. I'm sorry.
Oh,
No.
Tier 3.
I'm sorry. Yeah. We're good. We're
I
good.
was
We're good.
wondering what you were talking about. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Tier 3.
Yes.
And I do have DJ Moore in my next tier, by the way. So I'm with you there.
Okay. Sorry.
Again, but there's a cutoff for me.
Yes. No, I agree. I agree with the cutoff. I thought we were moving on.
Give me 2 guys in tier 3, which my tier 3 is 9 guys deep. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so 9 guys deep is
Sounds
a great nickname for your mom.
Yeah, I was about to say, it sounds like your mom's birthday party. Sorry.
Well, your joke was better than mine.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to have T.Y. Hilton just because I'm so high on Andrew Luck this year in that offense. So
Okay.
I'm putting T.Y. Hilton on there.
Thank you.
And then,
Stands for thank you, Hilton, right?
yeah. And you got to, think about Brandon Cooks as a
Without Googling it, tell me what TY stands for.
Terry Yosef.
Yeah, no.
What?
It stands for thank you.
No, it doesn't.
That's his nickname.
I don't care what his nickname is. What does TY stand for? Oh, what's his real name?
His real name's Eugene.
Is it really?
Yeah, TY is thank you, Hilton.
Why would he do that?
I don't know, man. His real name is Eugene Hilton.
So he said, I want my nickname to be Thank You.
I don't fucking know, man.
Oh, what could be a worse nickname than Thank You?
I actually don't know if it's thank you or not, but
Your nickname should be...
his nickname is just T.Y.
Yeah, yours should be PP Brito. Pretty Please Brito.
Oh, see. I thought that was...
No.
I thought you were going somewhere else with that.
Jeez. No, this is a clean family podcast.
Yeah.
It's even more cleaner now that I have Manscaped.
Oh,
along.
God damn it, Dale. Stop doing that.
All right, let's move on to the next tier here. Tiers here.
I can't.
Have you ever been to a baseball game when they have the beer and they're like, beer?
Yeah,
beer?
no, I got
Okay,
what you were
good.
doing,
All right.
man. It's been a while since we recorded together, man. I miss you. I fucking hate it, but I miss you.
All right. So let's go to the next one. Like I mentioned, you have Robert Woods, arguably the top in this tier. Julian Edelman, DJ Moore, which I like a lot. Of course, Kenny Galladay and Adam Thielen. We kind of mentioned those guys. I don't think I'm going to put Tyler Lockett or Cooper Kupp in this tier. I think I'm dropping it off around Julian Edelman. Do you agree?
That's a good question, man. I think Tyler Lockett belongs in the tier, but I don't love him there. And we've discussed this where I'm not all in on Tyler Lockett. I know I mentioned earlier this offseason that I wouldn't be surprised if Tyler Lockett wasn't at the end of the year the number one receiver for the Seattle Seahawks.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we'll see, man. I think he has the potential to be great in that offense because they like to feature one guy, but he is one of the iffy guys in this tier, right? If I had to pick guys in this tier, I'd much rather have Robert Woods or much rather have a Chris Godwin, even a Jarvis Landry with Odell Beckham there. I'd probably rather have him. But I think despite my reservations, Lockett still belongs.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, I
Like
mean, he's on the fringe. I'm not going to argue that fringe.
Here's the thing. I had those same reservations last year, and Lockett still finished wide receiver 16.
Right.
So, like, at what point do we not just look at that production and say nothing has really changed and he's going to do the same shit?
Right. Yeah.
And he's going to be just fine.
Sure.
So I think that's why I think he still belongs there. I just don't feel amazing about it.
No, I get it. Tyler Lockett here. Let's see. Lockett. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out. Tyler Lockett, yeah, the last couple of years, I mean, he did finish 16th last year, but, I mean, he didn't do anything the years before, so is he going to be better than he was last year? Probably not.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. All right.
Whereas I think there's guys that will be better.
Sure. All right, so we're cutting it off there then. I do like DJ Moore. I think Armando likes him the most here. Armando's putting him in a top 15. but we'll see about that. But I think I am moving DJ Moore up a little bit more and more. Not saying he's a great value where he's going, but it's very strong opportunity to be a wide receiver 2. Strong wide receiver 2.
Okay.
All right. Next tier is
Tier 5. And I think this is as deep as we'll go.
Yeah.
That's what she said. I think this is as deep as we'll go with our tiers. But Tier 5 for me. Now, Tier 4, I had a couple more guys in that tier. I think Tyler Boyd belongs in the tier above with guys like DJ Moore, like you mentioned, Calvin Ridley. I have Alshon in that group as well, in that 4th tier, the tier above. And those are the guys at the bottom of the tier. But, for example, Tyler Boyd, seeing what's going to happen with AJ Green, I think that might bump him to the top of that tier. Depends on those injury situations. But tier 5 is where I have a very big list, and it's kind of pick your poison. Who do you love? Who don't you love? And it's got high upside guys like Will Fuller. If he plays 16 games, he's a top 12 wide receiver, actually, in my opinion. But when the fuck is he ever going to do that? And then you've got like high floor guys like Marvin Jones, players like that. So
have you even given your tier yet? You've been talking a lot, and I don't think you've even given this tier.
Tier 5?
Yes, just tell me the players.
Watkins, Mike Williams, Marvin Jones, Will Fuller, Cortland Sutton, Robbie Anderson. Sterling Shepard is out of this tier.
Yes.
Depending on what happens with his injury. Golden Tate is probably out of this tier depending on what happens with his suspension. So those two have asterisks by them.
Did you put Pettis and Williams in? Dante
Pettis
and
Pettis is
Mike
there.
Williams.
I already named Williams.
Okay,
Christian Kirk, Anthony Miller, D.D. Westbrook.
Sure.
And Corey Davis.
I really, really, really like D.D. Westbrook this year.
I don't hate it.
I'm gonna
I think
write
he
something
belongs
up on
in
him.
this tier, man.
I do too.
This is your pick your poison tier.
Sure.
The guy that I will probably end up with on a lot of my teams, yet again, is Will Fuller because I love that upside. And probably yet again, a lot more Marvin Jones. Golden Tate's not there. Everyone is all on the Galladay train, but I think that offense can sustain 2 fantasy relevant wide receivers all year long. Obviously, it was a bit of a weird year last year with only 9 games played for Golden Tate after playing all but 1 game in the 4 seasons prior, 16, 16, 15, and 16 in the all but 1 game in the 3 seasons prior, 16, 15, and 16, the 3 seasons prior.
Right.
And amassing at least 103 targets the 3 previous years. He did, miss some games due to injury last year. Still was relevant, right? 500 yards over those 9 games and 5 touchdowns, but not what you expected had he been healthy. I think Marvin Jones will be just fine. And then we have seen on a points per game basis what can happen with with Will Fuller. Should he be there and actually play? Don't even give me 16 games. Just give me like 13, man. Yeah. Give me 13 and you're a top 24 wide receiver.
Yep.
Like, just please.
Yep. Cool. I think that kind of pretty much wraps up our tiers. But before we go, we've been talking about, you see what I'm doing here? Fantasy Go. Before we get out of here, I do want to talk about fantasygo.com. We've been talking about it for a couple weeks now. Huge partners of ours. Basically, if you don't know, if you haven't heard us talk about it, they are basically like the Airbnb or the Uber, basically the side hustle of fantasy football, if you will.
Yeah. So with Fantasy Go, it's an opportunity for you, whether you're someone who wants to get the advice of others, right? Maybe you're newish at fantasy and you want some guidance, or maybe you're a seasoned veteran and you're in too many leagues and you need somebody to help you manage and kind of guide you, or the other way around. Maybe you want to provide that advice, you've been doing this long enough, and you kind of want to make some money on the side doing so, like Dale mentioned, that Uber, that Airbnb, this is an opportunity. This is I think the Fiverr of fantasy football, where you can sign up as an analyst, Fantasy Go, and you can provide other people your advice, starting at, I think, $5, something like that, and going on up depending on your, what you're actually doing. So
Yep. I know a lot of our listeners have signed up to be analysts, which is awesome, because you supporting, or you looking into and supporting our sponsors and our partners help us too. So we appreciate that. But I know a lot of you guys have signed up to be an analyst. Go back to the website and complete your profile if you have done that, because I know the first link was just to sign up to register. And once you are in the system, go and fill out all your information. They want to know how you want to be paid and all that stuff. So go to fantasygo.com. Make sure you go in your dashboard and fill out the whole registration stuff, all your dashboard, your profile, complete all that stuff. Put a nice little picture up there. You can see I'm in the marketplace now, and it's just the Eat Sleep Fantasy logo. So if you want my advice, you can be getting access to me, and I'll help you with lineups using the Yahoo Fantasy platform. So check it out, fantasygo.com. We appreciate everybody that has done so already. If you haven't, go check it out. Christian?
it's a website.
It's a website. I think that basically sums it up, Christian. I don't think we have much more to talk about. If you want more of our rankings, go to eatsleepfantasy.com/rankings. Make sure it's free to look at all our rankings. But if you want the extra stuff, what?
Spontaneous top 5 websites. Go.
Google?
Are you counting down from 5?
No, Google's 1.
Oh, no. Count down from 5. We do this TRL style.
Oh, okay.
You spoiled the ending, though.
Oh, man. Spoiler, Google, I just changed it. It will not be number 1, so stay tuned.
Wow.
Number 5, ESPN.com.
Okay.
All around sports, get whatever you need. Although ESPN has started adding way too much pay stuff, I feel like I can even watch a 30-second video without having to pay for it. So it's number 5. Number 4, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Number 4 is eatsleepfantasy.com.
Wow.
Yep. I go there hundreds of
It's a
times a
website.
day. I literally log in and log out 100 times a day just to get our website numbers up.
Oh, that's why we have 101 visits.
Exactly. Number 3. One of the easiest for me, I know a lot of people have different things, but for me, FF Today is a really clean website that I go to get quick stats. If I'm online, if I'm doing a podcast and I don't have anything pulled up, I go to FF Today. They're not paid. I don't know why I'm giving the advertisement, but it is a good, clean website you can get quick stats off of. So that's number 3. Number 2, Google. Google.com.
I know what your number 1's going to be.
Tell me.
Lobster Tube.
Well, maybe.
So what's your number 1?
You gotta find out next week.
Wow, that's not how top 5 works, but
All right, quick, give me your top 5. Quick.
Number 5, Google.
Okay, 4.
Number 4, YouTube.
Okay. Oh, man, yeah, that's a good one.
Number 3, ecfantasy.com /DraftKit.
Okay.
Number 2, Pornhub.
What's number 1?
Man, it's my work website. I just visit it so often.
Yeah.
So like it just anything like all the things that are linked to like my ABA and Florida Medicaid and all of that, unfortunately, is my number 1. Are we talking about like popularity of how we use it or like how much I like it?
I don't know. Make your own list.
Then I'll redo it. YouTube is probably my number 1. I just spend a lot of time on there.
You may or may not hear a...
Social media needs to be on there, but I'm just going to group all of it together. Twitter, Facebook, WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Probably my number 2, but that's boring.
LinkedIn, of course, right?
Yes, LinkedIn, and I guess Pornhub is social media now. You can share those videos if you want to.
I dare you to share.
Dale, do you have do I have your permission to share it? Just say yes.
Sure.
Do I have your permission to share a Pornhub video on our Twitter account?
that I don't know how that will be received.
We'll find out.
All right, guys. For Christian Brito, my name is Dale. Thanks for listening, and we will talk to you guys next week.
Yeah. Eat, sleep, fantasy. You rocking with the best. NFL Fantasy Football Podcast. We talking mock drafts, running backs. Better follow the conversation with
John,
Dale, Christian, and Armando. Screaming Eat Nation. We doing what we like. Tune in every week. Guarantee we get it hype. Fantasy football enthusiasts. I know you plan to be joining us on Eat, Sleep, Fantasy. Yeah. Eat, Sleep, Fantasy. Eat, Sleep, Fantasy.